the number one thing that I can do to drive business for this team is put content out there and put content out there that attracts our ideal client, that are people that want to buy or sell in our market in the foreseeable future.
Karen, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I feel like you just did my whole job for me, though. Like, you spoke so much about YouTube. That was amazing.
I know, but you've taken it to the next level. And the nice thing about having someone like you and things we've done too as well is you've become an expert at YouTube for real estate agents because you wanted to start leveraging YouTube for real estate agents. And much like Jesse and I, all the information you share with the other agents are because you went through it. You tried to figure it out and you worked through it. You did the Q&A, you did your Google searches, you watched the videos, and now you are the foremost expert when it comes to YouTube for the real estate industry. And the people that follow you is so passionate in the information. People like Craig Veroni, who's going to be in our Q&A tonight because he's learned everything from you. Talk about your journey on why you started creating content and the type of content you started creating on YouTube, and sort of just quickly tell us about your journey with video and YouTube.
You bet. About, 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, we decided to move cross country. And if you have ever moved, you know that there is no good time to move cross country and start over in a new market where nobody knows you and you have no market share and no name recognition and no money coming in because you have no clients. So I thought, we'll create a YouTube video. Maybe it'll be good for branding. Maybe I'll just get my name out into the marketplace and people will start learning of me. And wouldn't that be great? And I had no consistency, no strategy, no rhyme or reason. I was just like, I got nothing to do today. I'll make a video and I'll upload it to YouTube. And then we moved again. I went from Atlanta to Savannah, and I got that magic phone call where the guy says, I feel like I know you already. I've watched all of your videos. We're selling our house in New York. We're moving to Georgia. Will you help us? Like, we want you to be our agent. And in the previous, 12 years, that had never happened to me before. I had never, ever, ever gotten a lead off the internet where they just randomly picked me. They called me and said, we want to hire you. That had never happened. So I thought, wow, if I could get a lead when I wasn't really even trying very hard, what if I actually tried? So I did. I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. I started Googling, how do you get leads from YouTube? And I watched every channel I could find. I made copious notes and I took bits and pieces from all the people that I wanted to follow. Nick Nimmons, Sunny Lenarduzzi, Sean Cannell, Owen Video, like all of the people. I just watched what they were all saying and figured, how can I make it applicable to real estate? How can I make it applicable to my marketplace and my personality, and do it in a way that would be unique? And boy, I'll be damned if that didn't work like gangbusters.
And the thing about Karen, I think it's really imperative people understand that there's a lot of experts out there or information to make your stuff look good. But you didn't let's wait for it to be perfect to do it. Like your front office at your home, set up a camera, just started talking to it. I mean, your production, your microphones, your lighting but because you were able to invest in that stuff because it was so obviously working. I mean, you wouldn't advise anyone to wait for it to be perfect to get started, right?
Oh, heck no. I mean, in your presentation where you were talking about the keyframes, I was like, is that what that's called? I still didn't even know what that was called. No, you absolutely do not need to do all of that fancy stuff at the beginning. I literally filmed probably the first 150 videos either on my phone or on my iPad with very, very minimal editing, no lighting, poor sound, like in my home office where your head is at the bottom of the screen and you look like you're 2 feet tall. Yeah. We get better over time. We get better with practice. But if I had waited until my set looked like this, I would have been waiting 4 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, or never getting to a point where you would do that. So explain, and I try to explain a little bit how different Facebook is from YouTube, because Facebook is, you're already a fan of my page or my channel or myself in order to really get us to be able to see my content, where people are going to YouTube and going, how to move to Savannah, Georgia, or real estate in Savannah, Georgia, or best realtor in, like, that's where they're discovering you. There is intentionality when people go to YouTube. And the amazing part about YouTube is when you create long tail content that is as valuable today as it was a year ago, that just keeps working for you over and over and over again. And you don't know what one of your videos creates that first going down the rabbit hole where they'll start creating more of your content or consuming more of your content.
Agreed. I mean, I know you guys love Facebook and so many people love Facebook, but I just feel like if I make a video for Facebook, after 3 or 4 days, no one will ever see it again. And I just feel like I want to get more like return on investment for my time spent. If I make that video and I put it on YouTube, I'll be getting leads from it years from now if it was a good video.
A Google search has never returned a Facebook video in the results, ever.
No.
So
But
that's,
my
I mean,
YouTube videos show up all day, every day on Google searches.
and I mentioned this, would you rather be in the third spot with a compelling thumbnail or in second spot with just text? I think I already know the answer, but in a visual world, we'd
Yes.
rather be the thumbnail.
Absolutely. But you know what's even better? When you got both. And I got both too. Because I make a blog post on my website and I embed the video in it. So if you Googled living in Savannah, Georgia, I think I have like 3 videos and 2 blog posts that all show up on page 1 of Google. Like, boom. Do you think you get business from that? Heck yeah, you get business from that. So like if you're spending the effort to do it, put it in a place that's going to really, really work for you. So you don't feel like I spend all day making videos and I get lots of likes and comments, but my phone is not ringing. If you put the content on YouTube, I guarantee you it's going to pay off eventually. It may not happen overnight. It definitely is a long game. It's not like I make this video and my phone starts ringing the next day. But if it took even a year and then suddenly, boom, you were getting 3, 4, 5 leads a week from people that said they found you organically on YouTube, like, wouldn't that be worth putting in the time to figure this stuff out? Totally is.
And let's qualify the word lead the way you're speaking of it versus the way the industry speaks of it. When someone buys a lead, that person wants a realtor, potentially. When you generate a lead, Karen, they want you. I mean, there is very little conversion. When you say 5 leads, you mean 5 people that want to do work with you.
Let me give you the perfect example. I donated blood last night. I went to the local elementary school where they were having the blood drive. And when I walked in and I checked in at the counter and I gave the lady my name, as soon as I was done, this man said, "Excuse me, are you Karen Carr, the realtor?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "I watch all your YouTube videos." And we had this awesome conversation. He said, "I moved here from Kentucky. I am an airline pilot for Allegiant. I decided to rent only because, COVID and the economy is so crazy. I didn't want to get here, buy a house, and then get laid off. So I feel really bad that I didn't call you." And I laughed and was like, when does a lead ever say like, "Oh, I feel bad that I didn't call you," right? So we had this awesome conversation. He said, "As soon as I'm getting close to the end of my lease, I am totally calling you." So it is not a lead. Like, this is my client if I want to take that person. The minute he calls me and says, "Let's do this," it's a done deal.
Yeah, and I just want to mean that because if people say, "Oh, well, it takes that much effort to generate 5 leads on YouTube where I can buy 5 leads for $1,000, you know what I mean?" But it's not the same. They're apples and oranges.
It is not the same. It is not the same. So yeah. I can really go on a soapbox about this. I feel very, very strongly that this whole buying leads thing is training consumers that when they snap their fingers, we should say, "How high should I jump?" That all they want is somebody that will open the door. They see us as all interchangeable. We are simply the gatekeeper, that we are the necessary evil that they have to go through in order to see the house of their dreams. They are not loyal to us. They really don't see our value. They don't want us. They just know that they have to be subjected to us, versus the person that calls me and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you answered the phone. I've been watching you for so long. Like, are you taking new clients? What do I have to do to get you to take me on as a client?" They are apples and oranges, like you said. There is no comparison. And the best part is this one was free. This one cost me how many thousands of dollars to get? For somebody that's going to treat me like crap and not respect my boundaries and probably dump me at the earliest opportunity because I would not leave my son's soccer game to go show them that house in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Jesse.
But I don't feel strongly about that at all.
Agree.
Tell me how you feel, Karen.
Well, and here's the thing. There's been some great points you brought up so far, Karen, in terms of long play. The things that a couple of things that are standing out to me, because I was deep in Facebook land for many moons, and the social platforms. Having a presence on YouTube has always been there for me. You know, having similar conversations. Holy crow, I watched one of your videos and now you have 6 other playlists of what you're doing in your community, or all these conversations, right? That kind of help them build a know and like you. I think, and social has a different purpose for it, right? I see YouTube as that opportunity to almost customize your new lead conversation and leads, right? Through, and I call them conversations because you're not buying leads. They're researching you. They're having those opportunities. A lot of my social is kind of that warm sphere. I think it is a fantastic way to nurture that cold sphere while they still build know and like with you. And for me, I know it is something that I need to be diving more into. Craig Veroni called me a year ago and said, man, here's the roadmap, and talk to Karen, and here's the world. And you begin to see how it all happens. And it's a fun way to build new business. I think that's the great thing.
And it's very snowball-ish. Like, the thing about YouTube is that the snowball constantly gets bigger and bigger because there is a catalog. Facebook, it seems like you got to constantly be building the snowball. It can only get so big because it falls off so quick, and it's a different way. So now, Karen, I am absolutely 100% putting you on the spot. I'm going to ask you to diagnose a problem. Mark Conan just put up a post. Here's this question. How do you get more subscribers to watch your videos? I have put up hundreds of videos with very few views. That's not her, but in general, I'm putting out content and I'm not getting the viewership. What am I doing wrong?
Okay, well, without looking at your channel, these are the typical things that I see. Are you posting a vertical video? Oh, like you earlier said, you have to create content for the platform that you're working on. You cannot upload portrait videos to YouTube. They've got to be horizontal. So if I go to a YouTube channel and I see your vertical video with 2 big black bars on either side, I'm leaving immediately because your face is this big in the YouTube video. So assuming that that's not the problem. Next, are you making videos about what people are actually looking for? What are the topics of your videos? You have to do a little bit of research to know, what are they Googling? What are they looking for online? Because YouTube is a search engine, just like Google. It's basically the video version of Google, and Google owns YouTube. So what are they Googling or searching on YouTube in order for your video to show up? Then,
okay, so on that,
are you
coming? Sorry, Karen. On that note, is that one of the best ways to go about finding out that is to Google real estate to the city to the left of you and find out what's the top producing videos? How do you go about diagnosing what people are looking for so you know what to create? How do you go about identifying these are the questions people want answers to?
You want to do keyword research using some sort of piece of software that is meant for doing keyword research. My favorite is Keywords Everywhere. It's $10 US for 100,000 search credits. So it's dirt cheap. You go install this plugin for Chrome or Firefox. And then if I were to type into the Google search bar, moving to Savannah, Georgia, it's going to come back and say, 480 people a month are searching for this term, and this is how competitive it is. This is how hard it would be for you to rank, or how easy it would be for you to rank at the top of the search results if you made a video about moving to Savannah, Georgia. That is how my entire channel was born. By doing keyword research like that, learning what they wanted to know. And by the way, earlier when you said you had to have a channel pitch, ask me what my channel pitch is.
I love this because I know you have one. Hey, Karen, what's your YouTube channel about?
On this channel, we teach you everything you need to know about relocating to Savannah and now Atlanta, Augusta, and South Carolina as well. We kind of expanded because this took off so much. We expanded into multiple markets. So we had to change our pitch a little bit to teach you everything you need to know about moving to Georgia and South Carolina.
But it has
That's
to
what
be
we
that
talk about
clear.
primarily.
It has to
Very
be that clear. You have to know what you're trying to create. She's still there. You're fine.
Oh,
There we
here's
go.
something
Here I am.
really interesting. Moving to Savannah, Georgia, because I have that keyword program. The number 2 region typing in that question is from the state of South Carolina.
We get a ton of people moving here from, I was surprised that you said South Carolina. We get a ton of people from up north. So New Jersey,
In the last 7
Ohio.
days.
Yeah. Yep. Tons of people relocating here from outside of the area. And it's just been amazing for us. So yes, we figure out what people want to see and then we make video content about that. We don't do a ton of restaurant reviews. We do not go out into the community and find the local business owner who just opened a dry cleaner and say, "Hey, can I interview you for my YouTube channel?" That stuff is great for social media. It doesn't get you anywhere on YouTube because if somebody is Googling, "Where's the dry cleaner in Rincon?" They're looking for a dry cleaner. They're not looking for a real estate agent. They're not necessarily in the market to buy or sell a house. So 99% of the content that we put on our channel is real estate content, which I know is not sexy and it sounds very unfun, but you know what? We're laughing all the way to the bank. It works. Just trust me when I tell you that it works.
Is there another point in typically when someone says, I'm not getting the viewership, what am I doing wrong?
Yep. So Craig totally hit the nail on the head with the custom thumbnails and the titles. You've got to make it intriguing in your title so that they want to click on it. It is the title of your book. It is the cover of your book. You have to make it interesting enough to make people want to click on it. And then I find that if you're overly salesy on YouTube, it goes over like a lead balloon. So if the whole time you're talking about yourself and how I am a realtor and I am a top producer and I have all these designations and I sell more houses than everyone and I drive up in my Lamborghini and I'm trying to show how I'm just all that in a bag of chips, it turns people off and they will promptly leave the video. So I don't sell in my videos at all. I just try to be genuinely helpful. Yes, I always have a call to action in my video, but it's never like, call me, call me, call me. Here's my phone number flashing on the screen. Did I mention that you should call me? I drive them to my website. Like you said, unfortunately, I'm going to be the buzzkill and say that you have to be part of the YouTube partner program to be able to do that, which now means you have to have 1,000 subscribers.
Now it's 1,000.
Unless your channel is very old. Yeah.
So we're already
1,000 subscribers.
We're pre
You're grandfathered in. Yes.
But here's the thing too is about, I mean, this is about everything we're talking about. If it's so hard to get the associated website, but you put in the work to get it, that means you have it and your competition doesn't. Something being difficult is valuable. Like I had to go out and get my pilot license so we could fly a drone for our listing videos because it got harder to fly a drone in Canada. Because it got harder, it made it more valuable that our videos feature drone shots because the competition isn't going to do the work. It's like, I love when it's harder. I love when it's harder. If it was easy, everyone would do it. I love that it's harder. So I've got no problem with that at all being that way.
I agree. And you know what? Until then, you just say, click the link down below and you put it in the description box underneath the video, problem solved. Like it's not clickable in the video. They go down below the video and they click, but they can still click. Now, so it's just once you get to 1,000 that you can click inside the video.
It changes constantly. Karen, do you know the book Story Brand?
Yes,
you know the book Story Brand? Okay.
Donald Miller.
Exactly. So this is one of the things that you said when you said, yes, of course, I know Story Brand, because what you were saying is when you as a YouTube creator for real estate, put yourself in the position of Obi-Wan or Yoda and then have the viewer be Luke Skywalker, that's when you're creating value. You're making them the hero and you're the guide. You're the person that's done it 1,000 times. You've seen all the pitfalls, all the upsides, all the downsides. Like you should not be the hero. And when you're being salesy, then it becomes a lot about you and not a lot about them. And I just think it's one of those books that if there's any type of marketing you're doing, it's a game changer to understand where you should be positioning yourself. And all your videos that I see, Karen, you are the expert, you're the steady hand that's going to help someone else have success. And I think that's really important part of the mix that people miss out on.
You know, when I first discovered that book and I read it and was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I called a client that had recently purchased their first home and I said, I want to do a testimonial video. Would you be comfortable being on camera? And I filmed that whole testimonial in the StoryBrand methodology. It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done, not because it was so beautifully produced. I mean, I filmed it with my iPhone, 2 iPhones. I had an iPhone over here and an iPhone over here, and that was my 2 camera angles. But because the client was the hero of the story, thought he was never going to be able to buy a house, finally was able to buy his first house ever. He cried at the closing table because he was so like, I can't believe it. I'm finally a homeowner thing. And like every time I watch that video, I just get chills because I can feel what it meant to them to finally achieve their dream of buying their first home. And I am not featured prominently in that video at all because it's not about me. It's about them. They are the hero of the story. I was just the facilitator.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to know what it's like to be a realtor. You know what I mean?
No.
They're watching, they're trying to be in the shoes of the person that they're going to be. They're going to be the buyer or the seller. That's the shoes they want to be put in. And it's such an important book to, or philosophy to have, is to understand our position and our role when it comes to educating the customer. And Jesse, I'm going to talk about a project tomorrow that you and I and so many others did, was Real Estate Unboxed. That's the whole point of that whole project, was to give the value, to help them through that. Here's the plan. Here's how you have success. Here's what could go wrong. Here's what could go right. And so that's the sort of mentality that I think really wins long tail.
I agree. 100%.
Karen, I've got a slide deck of about 50 slides here that you sent me, and we've been talking.
Because I'm a nerd. And
No.
like when you said, would you be a guest on this thing? I put together this big fancy presentation, but I'm sure you do not need to see it. So we can skip through it super, super fast.
It's amazing. But is there anything in here, Karen, that you're just like, oh my goodness, this, out of what I heard of Michael talk, here's a missing piece. Here's what people really need to know. Obviously, going to your website, YouTube for Real Estate Agents, your book, which we'll plug at the end, is not plugging about it. We're plugging, everyone needs to read it. And then you've got a great Facebook group too as well. That's just YouTube for Real Estate Agents. That's important. But in the slide deck, is there something that you're like in your soul, these people need to know this?
One of the biggest objections I get is I can't be on video. Now, I don't know how much this is going to apply to your audience because these people all want to be on video, but I hear over and over again, like, I don't want to make a video that I put on YouTube because I don't want people to judge me and I don't want people to say nasty things in the comments below. And all I think is, listen, people did not hire us because of what we look like. Did you hire your plumber because he had washboard abs? No, you hired him because you had a problem and he can solve this problem because he has the expertise to do so. Do you care whether he has washboard abs or not? Probably not. So for me, I'm in my 50s. I'm letting my gray hair grow out. I gained 15 pounds just like everybody else did during lockdown. Like, it's not about what we look like on camera. It is about how we can solve their problems. And if we take the focus off ourselves and we stop thinking like, how do I look on camera and how do I sound on camera and what are they going to think of me? And instead you're thinking of, this is the problem that they have that they're trying to solve. How can I be a resource for them? How can I answer their question? How can I solve their problems and make their life easier? Then it takes all the stress off. Like, who cares what you look like? I mean, sure, you'll do your hair and you'll put on makeup if you're a lady and you'll get dressed. You're not wearing, workout clothes or whatever, as though you're going to a listing appointment and you look like a bum. But it's not all about your physical appearance. Who cares? They are watching that video because you're teaching them what they needed to know in order to achieve this goal, whether they're thinking of buying or selling. I just find that it really takes all of the heat off if it's not about me. It's not about what I look like.
Well,
and then when it starts working and you start getting all of these clients, if somebody does say something nasty in the comment, it's like, okay, go watch somebody else then. Like, it's no skin off my nose.
How much of a pain would it been to have that person as a buyer and a seller? Like, you know what I mean? Like, totally. you actually avoided crappy couple weeks working with someone that's worried about that, people are going to YouTube and searching for something because they're help me. They're not, their brain set's not about you at all. And I think if we
Right.
get to a point where if they are focusing on your hair or your clothes or the background, your videos need more value. Like, obviously, if that's the only thing that's left, then maybe you should be looking at yourself as a video creator and a storyteller.
Agreed. But I love what you just said. If they are that shallow that they don't want to hire me because of whatever, like I don't want that person as a client. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I am every bit as trying to attract my ideal client as I am trying to repel the people who are not my people, because I don't want to work with them. Like I've done 15 years of real estate, almost 16 years now. I do not want to work with people that I don't like. So if I'm going to attract somebody I don't like and then have a miserable transaction, that's okay. I don't need you. I'll refer you to somebody else. Thank you. I just want to attract my tribe.
Yeah, Newton's third law, right? For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. The more you pull people towards you, you will also push people away from you. But both those things are really, really valuable things. Is to
Yes.
push and pull, and they aren't your people. They aren't your tribe. Karen, you're 16 years into this business. YouTube rolls around in 2008, somewhere around that. 2009 starts to gain up speed. Can you imagine your personal life and your professional life? Because I think when your professional life is built on YouTube and is always working and scalable, it frees you up because you're working when you're not working. That's a beautiful thing about video content, is door knocking is only effective while you're doing it. And the moment you stop, it stops being effective, where YouTube is not that way. Can you imagine your real estate business and your personal life without video?
I started making videos when I lived in California a bazillion years ago. YouTube was brand new. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a flip camera. You remember the flip camera?
Yes.
I had
Yeah,
this little
so did I.
flip thing, and I would go to my listings and take these little things and upload them with, I wasn't in the camera frame. It was literally just the house with some music behind it and my logo at the beginning and the end. And I was uploading those to YouTube. And I was the only one doing it. They were the crappiest videos you have ever seen in your whole life, but I was the only one doing it. And so it was cutting edge back then. And then when I discovered this whole thing, it was like, if I only would have started doing this sooner, if I only would have started doing it sooner, like how different would things be? Because literally, I was a solo agent in Savannah, had just moved here in June of 2017. I now have a team of 6 agents serving 4 different metro areas, 100% because of YouTube. I'm actually no longer in production anymore. So I'm the rainmaker. I control the channel. We make all the videos together. All the leads that come in, I give them to my agents. I work less than 30 hours a week now. It's freaking awesome. And it's all because of video.
I really want to stick on that point you made, Karen, because it's one of the pushbacks that Jesse and I get. Jesse and I get, oh, you are video people that happen to sell real estate, and I'm an actual producing agent and I'm not a video person. You just said you delegated all other real estate responsibilities outside of creating video content because you're the rainmaker. Like, you have decided that the only thing or the most important thing in helping me grow in the business and everyone else on your team is for you to stay in front of the camera. Like, that is such a powerful message for people to understand.
Yep. I mean, the number one thing that I can do to drive business for this team is put content out there, and put content out there that attracts our ideal client, that are people that want to buy or sell in our market in the foreseeable future. So we're very strategic about the content that we're making, trying to attract the right people. And we just double down on it. So I do have the agents on my team make videos as well. And in fact, I'm having them make a lot more content now than I am, because when they get that lead and they call the person, I want that person to say, oh, I've seen all your videos too. I didn't want it to be like the Karen Carr channel and like they get referred out to somebody else that they've never seen before. They're seeing all of their videos as well. But this is 100% the number one revenue generating thing that we do for the team, and we delegate everything else. We have admins, we have VAs, we have transaction coordinators, we can delegate everything else. The only thing that we can't delegate is ourselves on camera.
Amazing. Now, can you answer this question as someone 6 years ago and as someone today? Because the question is, do you edit your videos or does someone else? What would you
Heck
answer?
no.
6 years ago, did you edit your videos?
I did. 6 years ago, I was editing my own video. I had iMovie, didn't know what a keyframe was, and I used all those transitions, and they were hideous. But, you know, we don't know what we don't know, and we're brand new. And I got leads anyway. In spite of how atrociously edited those videos were, I got leads from them anyway. But then when you start closing business, and you're bringing home, you know, a commission check for $3, $4, $10, $15,000, you can set some money aside and say, I'm going to hire an editor. And so I hired a full-time video editor who lives in the Philippines. So she does not charge me a lot of money at all. She gets all of the videos and does all of the editing so that we don't have to. And that way we're not like, we literally just film the video and give it to her and say, you go make it happen. And she gives it back and it's finished.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you use a teleprompter?
No, I do not. I've tried a teleprompter. I downloaded the app to my iPad mostly because when I was using my phone, I couldn't read the teleprompter when it was like 6 feet away from me, right? But my iPad is bigger. So if the iPad was across the room, I could still read the teleprompter. Here's how my video sounded. Hi, I'm Karen Carr. I am a realtor with Keller Williams in Coastal Area Partners. Thank you for joining me. Like, they always sounded terrible. I could not ever make it sound like I was not reading from the teleprompter. That's a very hard skill to make it sound very natural. And it did not come easily to me. I tried it for a long time. And finally I was like, you know what? I can wing it. I know what I'm talking about. I've been in real estate long enough now that I know what to say. So I write an outline for myself and I write it on a piece of paper or maybe on my iPad. And I look down at it. And then I look at the camera and I say it. And if I don't like how it turned out, I pause and then I say it again. And then I say, okay, that's the take. And then I look at my thing and now we move on to point number 2. And then the editor just cuts out every time that I looked down at my outline.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
15 seconds at a time, right, Karen? I mean, you have to be
Totally.
intelligent. 15 seconds at a
You
time.
do not need to memorize the entire script. You literally need to memorize one sentence, maybe 2 at a time.
And the edit will fix all the rest of it. That's what we're trying to teach people.
Everything. And then when you talk about B-roll, you've got your 2 pieces together. You put the B-roll right on top. It covers the transition.
Tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow's B-roll, and exactly what Karen just said. If there is a nose pick in here, it's covered by B-roll, and no one ever knows there was a nose pick in there. So, Karen, Jesse and I, we haven't announced it yet, but I think we're going to go and launch our video podcast soon, because you're the type of person that we need another 3 hours. We need a 3-part series with Karen Carr. There's so much goodness here, but I do want people to know where they can get more information. YouTube for real estate agents, you can get at Amazon. It's a great book. There it is. I mean, she literally wrote the book about YouTube for real estate agents. And then also, if you want to find her on YouTube, youtube.com/Karen Carr. Karen, I will be quite honest, it's really important that everyone knows this. We met briefly at Rehumanize, and
yes,
I quite like the time that we spent together there. Jesse and I are very particular on surrounding ourselves by good human beings. It's very important that the people we surround ourselves are good human beings. Before I reached out to you, I reached out to a bunch of people and asked, where's Karen Carr on the list of great human beings? The glowing remarks about the type of human you are and the admiration people have for you was off the charts. It's clear as day when you watch your videos. You're a great person. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It means the world to us. Thank you so much.
My goodness. Thank you. That is high praise coming from you too. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. This is fantastic. And I can't wait to catch up with you in the DMs or however we're going to do this, because Social Savvy here has got another world to him, and you and I should have some conversations.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Karen. I appreciate you.
All right.
Take care. All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.